All right, short week, great challenge on the road against a really good football team. So got to maximize the time and get as much done as we can today. Tomorrow, before we get in the plane, on the plane we got to be productive, and then in the hotel. So we'll be preparing all the way through till we head to the stadium. But I can take any questions you have.
What have you learned over the years about doing these kind of quick turns?
I think it's amazing what you can get done in a short amount of time. It makes you wonder if you need Sunday to Sunday sometimes. But, usually Thursday's about when my body starts to turn the corner. So by the time you get the kickoff, you're feeling good. And it's always nice, to have the chance to catch your breath after the game, too, which you don't get from a Sunday to Sunday schedule. So, you take the good with the bad.
Kirk, was there a benefit of having a quick turnaround like this early in the season?
I think it allowed our coaches time to prepare before the season started, obviously, because there won't be much tape to go off of. As opposed to like a week 5, 6, 7, you're going to want to wait to see what a defense or a team is doing. So that was probably something that's a little different.
Kirk, there was a clip of you looking fired up on the sideline after your interception. You care to share what was going through your head at that moment?
Yeah, no, just passion and intensity is kind of the way I play the position, and that'll always happen from time to time after a series as I'm kind of processing it myself a little bit.
You've always been pretty efficient, productive against the blitz. I think numbers are pretty good on Sunday. Do you typically welcome an extra rusher, or knowing that when there's a safety blitz like when Winfield came, it can still be kind of dangerous?
I think voided zones as a passer you always feel good about. I think the key is being picked up, and we had a sack fumble on Sunday when they blitz and it's not picked up, and that's a problem. So there's a key caveat that you're picked up or that the ball's coming out quick, right? So one or the other. But many times when you pressure, you are voiding zones. Sometimes not, but sometimes you are, and in that case, then it potentially gives an opportunity to take advantage. But there are pros and cons to just about every style of defense, and so you kind of just roll with the punches.
What took place on the play with Ed Kirk as far as that snap and the fumble? That's a rare thing, clearly.
Right.
Just go through that, and how does that transpire and get cleaned up?
Yeah, kind of a freak deal. Had just changed centers, so that was one variable that got thrown in, and then just reversing out. His hand just as he's reaching just happened to hit the ball, and it came out. And then the worst part is that we don't recover it. You still have a chance to save it if we can, fall on it, but they fall on it, and so it was a combination of things that led to the outcome being, a turnover.
Would you say there's a chip on your shoulder going into this game, seeing how last year's game went versus them?
I think you always have a desire to go out and play well, to prove yourself, to earn it. I think that I've never, felt entitled taking the field, and so I kind of always feel like I've got to go out and prove it, and I think this week is no different.
You've played in Philly a lot.
Yeah.
Is the crowd and the atmosphere a big factor, or is it just the fact they've had good defenses?
Oh, I think it's a great crowd. I think it's a great atmosphere, and I think they've had good defenses. So, some of the guys that are still there were there when I was a rookie. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. I mean, these guys have played a lot of football there. And once again, they've got a great unit and a great team, and they've got a great crowd to go with it.
Kirk, the yards per play against the Bucs was actually good. Mm-hmm. The obvious score and ability to move consistently was not. When you sat down and watched the film, what did you see as the difference there between the successes, but then the lack probably of consistency?
Yes. Points. It's all about points. And turnover margin will always be a critical stat when it comes to winning football games. We lost the turnover margin badly. And you don't have to look too much further than that. I think the yards reflect potential in the offense, the potential for being a great offense, the explosiveness that's there, the scheme. I think it reflects the players. But ultimately, we got to have it turn into points, and we got to protect the football. And if you're scoring points and you're protecting the football, the opposite tends to happen. You tend to win. You tend to, over the long haul, have a pretty good record. So that's what we'll be chasing.
Outside of last season, based on your experience playing in the NFL, do offenses typically start slower in weeks 1 and 2 as you try and get that game-type speed up to par?
I think it just depends. I think it depends how long guys have played together, how the defense they play, the environment, and just the simple execution in the game. If you have 3 turnovers, it doesn't really matter what else you do. 3 turnovers is pretty critical to the outcome of the game. So I think maybe year to year, just not sure.
After the game, you could have waited and worked underneath to Jordan on that interception of KJ. After watching the film, is that still your takeaway, or kind of how do you process that play?
Yeah, just kind of a bang play, and worked TJ probably a little too long, and then felt the void to KJ, but with the safety there, better to just progress to Jordan. Tried to stop KJ with the ball, and really just should have let him through it and let him get blown up by the safety if it meant 6 points, and I was probably trying to protect him too much, and then just get to Jordan, and we can get half of the yards we need, and then play for the next play.
Is the pressure you're feeling, the amount of times you've been hit to that point, hinder your thoughts to go to Jordan and wait that extra second?
No, not on that play. That play's a drive-by, bang play, quick game. That wouldn't be one that I would ever feel any rush, really. The ball's just out so fast. It's such a drive-by.
Kirk, you have a full-time body guy. Any benefits to having that so far that you realized after Sunday, just today?
Yeah, we're still early, but I feel really good, and I think it's helped, and it's just one day at a time right now.
Kirk, obviously Aaron Rodgers gets hurt and he's out for the season with a torn Achilles, they announced, and you know him well. How does that strike you, friend to friend, competitor to competitor, whatever it is, when you hear that news?
It's just tough news. We know the realities of playing this position. Every time you step out there, you're always one play away from things changing. You know that. And so I guess it's just a reminder, but I don't know that we need the reminder because we know it. The NFL really stands for not for long. And you have to fight and work and grind to make sure you're still out there. And even coming back from this injury, he's going to fight and work to make sure he's back next year. And so that's the case for all of us, and it's an unfortunate deal. I expect to see him back in a Jet uniform next year, playing at a high level, but it's a tough deal.
Were you watching and did it strike you like, oh
yeah.
my?
Yeah, I watched the play. I watched him kind of flick the ball, and I thought, that I don't know what that was. And then when he got up limping, I said to my wife, I think he's hurt. And then he went back down, and I saw the clip, and I was like, yeah, he's not doing that if it's just any old. And then when he was carried off, I thought, this isn't good. And, looking back, when he flicked that ball, I think he was basically saying, that's my season right there. Tough deal.
Kirk, when you're working with a new center, if you end up having to do that on Thursday night in Philadelphia, what is the challenge, especially in a short week, as opposed to having 7 days to get ready with him?
Yeah, I think it's everything from talking about cadence to the snap positioning to the silent count on the road to the gun snaps. Code words. You're just making sure you're going through reminders for everything that you want to make sure that the lack of time together that you might have with Garrett and not have with somebody else that you're covering that, and making up for that lost time.
Is there any more urgent feeling in this locker room because you lost the first game, or is this just another NFL game?
I've never been in here and not felt urgency, so I think regardless of the record, there's urgency. I remember last year we were like, let's say we were 10-2. I felt like it was 2-10 in terms of just the urgency you feel when you come in here. You just feel this need to win, to close the division out, to get the best seed you can, to get home field. So even when things are rolling, you just feel like you got to go get that next thing that's out there. And as a result, I don't know that the record will really change that.
Last year, Kirk, how encouraged do you feel after watching the game tape? Kevin said yesterday he felt more confident after he watched the tape. How do you feel about what you all can do on Thursday?
Well, I think we there's potential, right? There's guys who can make plays. There's potential. You can be explosive, but at the same time, the ability to execute play in and play out for 75-ish plays week in and week out, that will always be the challenge, and that's the precision and the attention to detail and the preparation that you have to be able to do that. We got to have that, and it starts with me, and so that's really where my focus is, can we go out there on Thursday night and really just execute with precision from the first snap to the last, and really let that be our focus. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.